On today's episode of The Front Row, we are at the Texas Tech University School of Music in the office of Dr. Christopher Smith, who is the director of the Vernacular Music Center here at Texas Tech University. He directs a number of ensembles throughout the university and in the community as well. Chris, welcome to The Front Row. Happy to have you.
Always happy to be back.
Well, I saw that there is a Tech Folk Orchestra concert coming up, which was very interesting to me. And I saw some publicity for it, and I saw things like the Eternal Stalwarts Orchestra and the Celtic Ensemble and the Babylon Berlin Ragamuffin Band and the Tech Folk Orchestra, and I saw all of that, and I thought, I'm overwhelmed. I need Chris to sort this out and tell me exactly what is taking place on Wednesday, October 23rd.
Well, the simplest way to say it, Clint, is that on Wednesday, October 23rd at 8 p.m. in our newly refurbished Hemley Recital Hall, the Tech Folk Orchestra is launching its inaugural concert. So that will be coming up this coming Wednesday, the 23rd. Hemley Hall has been through a long process of renovation, desperately needed renovation, spearheaded by our Dean, Martin Camacho, and our Director, Andy Stetson, and it is beautiful. It was inaugurated. The hall was reopened with a concert by our University Symphony, a program of Stravinsky, and a saxophone concerto. It was magnificent. It's a wonderful place to hear music. It's great for us, honestly, to be back in there. Now, the Tech Folk Orchestra, that's a kind of rechristening, actually, because for years, as some listeners may know, I've run the Tech Celtic Ensemble. But over time, because we're a big band, marching band school, over time I had a lot of players who wanted to play in the Celtic Ensemble, but they didn't play the folkloric instruments. They didn't play flute or fiddle or bagpipe. And I had trumpet players and saxophone players and bassoonists and oboists. And so I began writing arrangements of folkloric music and kind of imagining, well, what would a true folk orchestra sound like if it was an orchestra made up of folk musicians playing folkloric material. And so finally this year we just decided, well, let's just pull the trigger and call it what it is. And so it's the Tech Folk Orchestra, erstwhile Celtic Ensemble, whose alter ego, sort of science fiction alter ego, is the Eternal Stalwarts Orchestra.
Okay. All right. That explains that. Was there an Elegant Savages at one point?
There was, and I'm actually glad you asked me that, because in both jazz parlance and in West of Ireland parlance, where I spent a lot of time, the word savage is it's a complimentary adjective. Okay. But over time, as discourse around words always changes, we decided, maybe that's a word that some people might misapprehend.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so we thought, well, maybe it's time to revise the name of the fictional alter ego, but it has to be the same three initials so we can use the same promo material. So it became the Eternal Stalwarts Orchestra. And then, of course, we reverse engineered the Eternal Stalwarts name change into the multiverse of Basanda.
Right. And what is, for those who don't know, what is Basanda?
I'm glad you asked. Basanda is an invented world. It was invented by two great friends of the VMC, a Taos-based musician named Chipper Thompson, and my colleague in the Vernacular Music Center, Dr. Roger Landis. And they imagined a country from which a collection of folklore field recordings had come. They made this wonderful record called The Janissary Stomp, which you can find on Spotify and YouTube and whatnot. It's a great record, The Janissary Stomp. And when I was looking around for a fictional world in which to place the Eternal Stalwarts Orchestra, I thought, well, maybe I don't have to invent one. Maybe the boys will just let me borrow the nation of Basanda. And so that's what we did. We came to actually a formal intellectual property agreement so that everybody felt positive about it. And there's now a huge backstory about the Eternal Stalwarts Orchestra and Basanda and what it all means. And if people really want to do the deep dive, then they can visit eternalstalwartsorchestra.org. The other thing I should say, which is being inaugurated in this concert, which is, I hope, an ongoing collaboration, is my great friend and admired colleague, Professor Mallory Pruka, over in the School of Theater and Dance. She's just this year, or last year, I think this year, inaugurated a cosplay design minor within theater and dance. Now, I'm not a cosplay person particularly, but I know it's a hugely popular area of sort of avocational creativity. And so Professor Pruka, who I think is not only a brilliant teacher, but a brilliant artist, actually shepherded through a 15-hour minor in cosplay design, which is actually a great parallel income source for someone who works in theater. If you're a designer and you work in theater and you're between productions, you can build cosplays. And Mallory approached me and I was like, yes, please. So it's her class of, I think, 12 or 14 students are collaborating with my ensemble, and their students are all handling it themselves. They're doing the design and they're sourcing the pieces and all of this stuff. And that concert on Wednesday the 23rd will inaugurate that partnership as well.
Okay. That sounds really exciting.
It is exciting, and it's a kind of sort of interdisciplinary cross-college thing that we're really encouraged to do. So I'm really pleased because it has both a performance aspect, because it's fun, but also has a teaching aspect, because that's the profession in which we find ourselves.
Right. And it helps you fill out your concert really in a more profound way. It's not just oral, but visual and all these things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've always had a really strong visual element. We're the only ensemble in the School of Music that has a standing core of dancers who are part of the ensemble, because so much of the music that we play is dance music. And so it's very interactive, and we often invite the audience to come and dance on a piece and that kind of thing. So I hope people will come out.
Yeah. And the other thing that really strikes me is that this is so at home in the Vernacular Music Center, which is folk musics, right?
Yeah, the Vernacular Music Center has been in existence since the fall of 2000, but this past year, we became a formally recognized research center, formally recognized by the Office of the Vice President for Research, and we are the only officially recognized research center in our college, the Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts. And so we have been encouraged to up our game and to write grants and come up with projects and really make the VMC a kind of leader in innovative teaching and creative research. And something I can mention in passing is that we were selected by the university to be the author of a grant to the Fulbright Foundation called the Scholar in Residence Program. Now, mostly people know Fulbright from people going elsewhere, but the Scholar in Residence Program is designed to bring an international scholar to a college campus. And we were asked to write a proposal, and our proposal of all the ones across the campus was selected by the university to go forward, and we got it.
Congratulations.
So I can't yet say the name of the person that we're bringing, but I can say that this person is one of the absolute founding thought leaders, one of the absolute initiators of probably the most important movement in theater in the last 30 years, which is immersive theater. And he is one of the founders of one of the founding companies. And if we're able to do this, he will be in residence for the spring of 2026. And that's all about the interdisciplinarity of theater and movement and design and music.
Congratulations, Chris. That's super.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's exciting. It's as I said, we've been asked to sort of ramp up our leadership, if I can say that, in the VMC, and we're trying to rise to that.
Yeah. Great. Well, specifically to the concert, Wednesday evening, October 23rd at 8 p.m. in the newly refurbished Himley Recital Hall. Give us a rundown of the program.
Okay. Well, we have music, dance music and songs from France and England and New England and Ireland. We have a couple of Irish language songs. We have some wonderful music from Northumberland by an artist named Catherine Tickell. And this is an ensemble of, I think it's 32 players on stage, winds, brass, strings, percussion, singers, and dancers. All students, all collaborating, a lot of them moving beyond their areas of familiarity, trying out new things, new musics or different instruments. And so it'll be a kind of festival, spectacle kind of show. And we like that. We like doing stuff like that. And we couldn't be happier to be back in our home of the Himley Recital Hall.
Right. Well, the thing I've loved about your concerts from the very beginning is not only are they fun to listen to, but they're just fun in general. It's very entertaining. There's always something to see and watch and do and participate in. And I assume that's all the same things have for this concert. Probably?
Absolutely, yeah. It's all ages. It's family friendly. We try to share these musics and dance in the spirit of the way that we encountered them in the folkloric traditions, which are always participatory and always sharing and always inclusive and always accessible. They can sometimes be very, very unfamiliar, but the idea is to permit anyone who wants to enter the world to become part of that world, to enter the world of the Tech Folk Orchestra, to enter the world of the Eternal Stalwarts Orchestra, to enter the world of Basanda. So our tagline is always, come and dance with us in Basanda.
Oh, great. Excellent. And can people just come?
Yes, it's free admission. I would recommend that people try to show up on the early side because it's open seating. The hall has the same approximate number of seats, but we all know that on a popular night, getting parking and getting into the Hamley Hall can be a bit time-consuming. So early side is not a bad idea.
Great. Excellent. And Chris, while I have you, I know that anybody who listens to us talking, the one thing people want to know is there a big concert going to take place in the holidays?
I'm so happy that you asked about that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, we have a confirmation that we will be doing our annual solstice concert. Again, we've been asked to kind of ramp up our thing. We are currently, it is scheduled to occur on December the 12th in the Machen Theater, which was also renovated within about the last 3.5 years. We've been in the Machen back in the day, and we had a great experience. The folks at the Machen and in the theater and dance department have been really receptive and really helpful in finding a date that we can manage. That will also be a free concert. It will involve both the Tech Folk Orchestra, but also the Tech Historical Performance Ensemble, led by Angela Mariani, the Caprock English Bagpipe Consort, led by Roger Landis. You'll be able to hear them on the 23rd, and you'll be able to hear them again on December the 12th.
Great. Excellent. The concert is October 23rd in the newly refurbished Hemley Recital Hall here on the Tech campus. It is the Tech Folk Orchestra in concert, and our special guest today on the front row has been Dr. Christopher Smith. Chris, thank you as always so much.
Thanks to you as always, Clint, as well.